From KGW News, this is a special edition. The Good Stuff.
I think what most people don't realize is that you're never too young to make a difference.
A Portland high school student is spending her summer helping kids with free virtual lessons, all through her own nonprofit. Hi everyone, I'm Brittany Falkers. This is a great story. She offers a wide range of subjects, music, science, even graphic design. John Goodwin talked with the team behind Cyberborn.
Rising senior Lassia Yanjuri is still in high school, but she's been looking at the world a bit differently since 8th grade.
I took a visit back to India, and my parents were actually sponsoring a child already from an orphanage. And we went to take, since we were already in the area, we went to take a visit to her orphanage.
For the Sunset High student, a chance to interact with and teach kids sparked an idea.
I think that was the moment when I decided that, I should do something for these kids, because though I might not be able to change the world, I can change one person's life.
In the few years since, Lassia has worked to bring awareness to child poverty and also child education.
We've done many fundraisers, many events in the past with in those orphanages. We've actually raised money through book drives, bake sales.
That money was used to build 2 computer labs back in India for the kids that made that lasting first impression. Once the pandemic hit, she realized that she wanted to bring it in and focus on impacting the Portland community. And Cyberborn was born.
After looking at my own brother and other kids his age, he's in elementary school, I realized that after the pandemic hit and the schools were closed, that they really did not have anything to do.
In June, Lassia and some classmates began offering virtual lessons for elementary school students. She says they'll continue until schools open back up.
We have graphic design, we have music, we have science experiments, we have math.
While their focus is local for now, the vision is to help children around the world reach their full academic potential. Their classes have already grown to include as many as 50 kids.
Our idea of kind of spreading this out is not for publicity's sakes, but it's more like, hey, there are kids who need this, who do not know about this, and we can help them do something in the summer so they find their summer worthwhile and they can connect with education past the 4 walls of the school itself.
You could say Cyberborn is still in its infancy, but Lassia is taking steps to make sure this is something that runs on for years to come.
I also used to think that, hey, when I grow up, then I'll have a say in everything. I can actually make a difference. But I think what most people don't realize is that you're never too young to make a difference.
Well said. You're never too young to make a difference. Our thanks to John Goodwin for that story. And for more information about how to sign up for one of these awesome workshops, you can check out cyberbornportland.org. Well, now to a peaceful demonstration in North Portland. Protesters raised their fists and took a knee to show their solidarity for racial equality. This is at Rosa Parks Boulevard and Denver Avenue. The group gathers there daily, but today there was also a moment of silence to remember George Floyd. We thank Tommy Kaiser for letting us know about this one. Well, let's highlight an effort to help people rebuild their lives when they get out of prison. Christelle Kumwe tells us about Constructing Hope.
I was incarcerated when I was 16 for 5 years.
After serving time, Byron Walker worked a few warehouse jobs.
Wasn't able to really support myself or anybody, either of my kids, doing those warehouse jobs, fell into some more trouble.
Byron ended up back in prison. Then he saw a flyer for Constructing Hope and decided to reach out.
Sent a letter from prison and got a response in prison with more information.
He wasn't expecting a response. That alone gave him hope.
Was released December of 2019. Came here to Constructing Hope the day of my release.
Constructing Hope offers free training programs for construction jobs. They also help graduates find work.
We found out that most people had a felony background and could not find work. So the program was put together because construction was the one industry that did not look at your background as being something bad. They were looking for good workers.
Executive Director Patricia Daniels says the program started 25 years ago to help communities negatively affected by gentrification. Byron started his training in January.
From welding to pipe cutting to pipe cutting safety, threading.
The 10-week program had offered a mix of hands-on training plus classes focused on math, finances, and decision-making until COVID-19 hit.
It's affected us tremendously. It's basically shut down our program. Without classes, we can't fulfill our contracts, and without contracts and without classes, we also can't get grant funding.
The organization recently launched a fundraiser. Dave Dahl, who was incarcerated, then later started Dave's Killer Bread, donated $100,000 and a matching gift. Because of Dave and other partners, donations will be tripled. A $25 donation means $75 for Constructing Hope.
They changed my life, my kids' lives, the relationship I have with my family. They changed it completely.
The organization had a 90% placement rate in 2019. Byron graduated in March and started his job about a month ago.
And they were offering me the opportunity to actually take some steps that would last for a lifetime. There's no telling where I'd be right now if it wasn't for Constructing Hope.
Now, Christelle mentioned that the program is in the middle of a fundraiser, so if you'd like to help, we have a link how to do it at kgw.com. A pint of pennies for a pint of beer. A Portland restaurant owner gets creative to tackle the coin shortage.
When that water is out, it affects everybody in the sense of water. Fire suppression, wildland fires, washing hands.
You know, it's just been Band-Aid fixes. There's been main water breaks. There's been a lot of different things happening within the water infrastructure. I'm a tribal member, but I'm a tribal member who lives in Portland, Oregon. I am seeing, like on social media, just hearing from friends and family via phone calls and texts about what's happening at home. So a lot of them, you know, are just experiencing like the daily life of not having water is like driving 15, 20 miles to go to the next town or to this local spring to get water. I grew up there my entire life. Generations and generations of my family have lived there and still live there to this day. It literally means the world to me to be able to help in one way or another.
The generosity from community members in the surrounding, I just simply want to thank those folks for all that you folks are doing. It needs to be mentioned that we certainly do appreciate it.
Well, have you heard or noticed there's a shortage of coins? Maybe not. People aren't using cash as much during this pandemic, so a Portland restaurant owner has a solution. Nepo 42 started a penny drive. If you bring in a pint of pennies, you can trade it for a pint of beer. That's 600 pennies, or a $6 beer.
People could go through their house, get rid of their pennies, get something that they want right now, and it gets our neighborhood engaged with us in a different manner.
Really cool. And if you want to check it out for yourself, you can. Nepo 42 is on Northeast 42nd Avenue. Pint of beer for some pennies.
Alita Ross.
Well, we could all use a laugh these days, that's for sure. And a Portland comedian is bringing back his late night talk show, and he's hosting it with his mom.
We're very good at silly. I've always wanted to, take over the Tonight Show, and so now my version of the Tonight Show is in Mom's living room.
I can't wait for this one. We're going to hear from this hilarious duo coming up next. But first, we hope you had a fabulous weekend. For me, getting out into nature is what keeps me centered. It's how I hit my reset button. So I hiked along the Blue Basin Overlook Trail. And on Facebook, I asked what you do to recharge. So here's a couple of your photos as we head to break. This isn't your their typical concert, the Portland-based group Bells of the Cascades live-streamed an hour-long performance on their YouTube page. The concert was part of the Handbell Musicians of America National Virtual Seminary. The event usually happens in person and features workshops for musicians, but of course, the pandemic forced it to go online this year. Sounds beautiful still. Bells of the Cascades has been making this music since 1990. And hey, you can add comedians to the long list of performers going virtual. Galen Etlin catches up with a mother and son duo.
Aaron Ross.
Alita Ross.
Alita Ross. I'm the mom.
I'm the son.
The son.
Aaron Ross did a live late-night talk show in Portland for a decade called Who's the Ross, then took it to L.A.
Back to Who's the Ross family programming, here live from Mom's house. I said, are you ready to roll? Yeah!
Now, the show is in Mom's Southwest Portland living room, streamed online.
Going home was the best move,
Yes.
and I didn't expect that Mom would just, go, oh, I've got it, let me be your Ed McMahon. She's the Hollywood professional anyways.
That's right. Mama Ross was in the 1966 Batman movie.
Dupe in my mind.
So in other words, this is my Bat Mom.
Yes, right.
2020 Bummer Olympics are back.
You want fries?
Yes!
Together, they poke fun at quarantine and the world now flipped upside down.
We're very good at silly. We try to stay away from the politics because I think everybody's kind of too much, right?
From interviews with NBA stars and ESPN personalities to writers of shows like The Office and The Simpsons.
When would you have that opportunity?
Right. The duo keep it light, but on message.
Someone's coughing, my lord, wear a mask. Oh, Lord, wear a mask.
Inspiring the nation.
That's what we're trying to do.
We know a lot of businesses, and especially artists and entertainers, are struggling right now. Is this something that you're able to make money off of? Is it something that
I'll just stop you there. Comedians don't make money. So, it's the same as it was before. People tip over Venmo, and when they do, it is very sweet. And we are looking to get sponsors, as the show grows. I've always wanted to, take over the Tonight Show. And so now my version of the Tonight Show is in Mom's living room.
It is the American dream. Go back to Mom.
It is the American dream. Though I think my mom and I will stick to hiking videos.
Mom, let's take the elevator down to the basement.
Since the mother-son talk show circuit is pretty busy in Portland already. Aaron and Mama Ross.
That's how it was translated.
Sharing the laughter when many of us need it most.
We'll see you next Sunday. Have a great week. Bye. We love you guys. Good night.
I mean, Aaron seems great, but Mama Ross, that's who I want to hang out with. What a cool, fun duo. And you can live stream Who's the Ross on Facebook every Sunday night at 8:30. You'll also find previous episodes on Aaron's YouTube channel. We have a link to his channel on kgw.com. There's more good stuff ahead. A local photographer takes us on an adventure to capture Comet NEOWISE. And we want to share more of your Facebook responses. I asked you all about the ways that you like to hit the reset button and recharge. We want to keep those pictures coming. You can text them to 503-226-5088. Take a look at a few more as we head to the break. Welcome back to The Good Stuff. If you've been in downtown Portland lately, you may have noticed this polka dot display at Pioneer Courthouse Square. Oregon artist Bill Will is behind it. The colorful dots are spaced 10 feet apart to not only decorate the square, but also set the stage for performances by local artists so they can be socially distant apart and still have a wonderful time performing. I love that. It's absolutely beautiful. And you know what else is beautiful? If you haven't seen Comet NEOWISE yet, you do have a few more days to do so. It is just gorgeous. Grant McComey gives us a look at the comet streaking through the sky near Mount Hood.
This week, getaway photographer Jeff Kastner takes us somewhere near Mount Hood, where he joins up local landscape photographer Jesse Brackenberry, and the two of them set out on an adventure of a lifetime in the middle of the night to see and capture Comet NEOWISE.
For a landscape photographer, there's quite a few things worth getting up in the middle of the night for, and this was definitely one of them. Morning. Got my tripod. this point right here. Most people will say I wouldn't want to be up at 3 a.m. But for a photographer shooting a once-in-a-lifetime experience, the NEOWISE Comet, I think we're in for a treat tonight. I'm gonna set up right here. Oh, man, that is beautiful. My first time seeing a comet it's quite spectacular. Got the crescent moon coming up on the right. All right, I'm gonna take a 5-second shot. Let's see what we can come up with here. Gosh, that's a great, pretty picture. With a camera on a tripod, you can set your settings to a long exposure. All of the light will come into that sensor. Okay, so I want to adjust a little bit more. So I have my 24-70 millimeter on, and I'm gonna do about a 25-second shot to help bring out a little bit more of the detail in the foreground. Gosh, that's so neat. That's one thing with night photography is you learn a lot of patience. It's just a different peace of mind when you're out here in the night sky and you can just see all the stars, let alone the moon and a comet or a planet. You can tell the sky is starting to change, starting to lighten up. I want to try and make the most of this light while I can. I love that. The landscape here in the Northwest is world-renowned, and the beauty here is hard to top. There we go. About 5:45, the sun will be coming up. With everything going on in the world, there's still these events. The sunsets are still happening, the sunrises are still happening, and so I'm happy to get outside and continue to capture these moments and being able to share this with everybody. It's a landscape photographer's dream.
A special thanks to both Jeff and Jesse for going the extra miles in the dark to capture those stunning shots of the comet. And here's some tips. If you'd like to see NEOWISE, try to get out early in the morning, say 2 hours before sunrise, and look to the northeast. And then in the evening, about an hour after sunset, look to the northwest. And here's another tip. Find the Big Dipper in the sky and then look directly below it. Bring binoculars and try to get away from the city lights.
I do have to say, if you want to feel like a part of something much bigger, checking out that Comet in person, it's really part of it. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And remember to keep sharing the good stuff. You can email your stories, photos, and videos to thegoodstuff@kgw.com. You can also send a text to 503-226-5088. And we'll leave you with more of your photos showing how you hit the reset button and recharge. Have a great night, everyone.